Welcome to the Parenting Power Podcast, supporting parents with the real-life tools they need to raise the confident, interdependent people the world needs. Gail Bell and Julie Freedman Smith interview experts who share their knowledge to assist parents in creating a home environment where kids can thrive.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Real Life Parenting Podcast. I'm Julie Freedman Smith.
And I'm Gail Bell.
Today's episode of Tools for the Trade is brought to you by Beaner's Fun Cuts for Kids. Parenting is hard, haircuts shouldn't be. Visit beanersfuncuts.com for a location near you.
Today, Julie's going to share a bunch of information for parents on the importance of building trust with your teenager.
It's a really big deal. And the thing about building trust with a teenager, if you don't yet have a teenager, this is the exact time to start. So developing trust and relationship with our kids happens over the long term. If you've got a non-teenager, now is the time, as you often hear us say, to be building connection, to be creating many opportunities to talk with your kids, and also to be building the understanding that trust is an important value in your family, that you are going to say things to your kids and follow through so they know they can trust what you say, and also that you're modeling trust and honesty in your interactions with the rest of the world. So are you saying one thing and doing another? Are you making excuses for why a child isn't coming to school? Or are you saying that you're sick when really you just don't want to attend an event? So managing the importance of honesty as a value in your home is a great way to start. Once we actually have teenagers, there are three key points to consider. Number one is our own behavior. So are we being clear with our kids and holding them accountable? If we say something's going to happen, are we following through? Are we modeling that to our teenagers as well as when our kids are younger? And are we still building that connection? Do our kids know that we actually care and that we're interested in what they're doing? If we let them stay in their rooms all the time on their phones and not come down for dinner, if we don't really care what time they get home, if we aren't even checking in on them, they are going to know that there's no connection there, that we don't even need the element of trust in the relationship because the relationship is faltering. So as parents, we need to step up. So that's number one. Number two, we need to make sure that the expectations that we're setting for them are not leading them to lie to us. So we want to make sure that the expectations are actually things we can keep an eye on. We know that with our teenagers, they're getting out in the world more. We're not overseeing where they're going necessarily or who they're with or what they're doing all the time. So when we set expectations for them, they need to be ones that we can actually check on, because if we're doing expectations and consequences, but we can't actually keep track of what they're doing, then they can get away with lying to us because there's really nothing that we can do. So rather than setting really firm expectations and limits that they may not follow through with, it's about talking to our kids, sharing our values and expectations, and asking them how they're going to be able to follow through. So what would you do if you're in this situation? What happens if the person you're going to get a ride home with is unable to drive you? What happens if you're not feeling comfortable about getting a car with that person? So we want to be asking them some questions and guiding them to learn how to be thinking for themselves so that we can set everybody up for success. And then the third part is following through with consequences. And the overall vision for this is trust and freedom are directly related. So when we can trust the choices that the teen is making, then they have the freedom to keep making those choices. If we're not trusting their ability to make good choices, we're going to take away some of that freedom, give them the chance to earn that freedom back as we begin to trust them again, and then let them go. So it's a three-pronged approach, and it is something that is constantly changing. The relationship that you're going to have with your 13-year-old is going to be very different than the relationship that you're having with your 18 or 19-year-old. Those are my thoughts on building trust with kids. Gail, how would you follow up with that?
This three-prong approach works really well. Just to add a little bit on is get really clear when you're sitting down in a quiet moment with your teenagers. Just was talking to two moms actually the other day, and one mom said, yeah, we told her curfew was 11:30, And she interpreted that as leaving the party at 11:30. And we thought she was going to get home at 11:30. And another mom said, yeah, that happens. I remember Sam. He used to text us all the time, just about ready to leave. And the other mom said, well, did you follow up with him? And she said, no. So for that family, there wasn't a clear curfew. For the first family, they're like, well, we're going to sit down and make sure that our daughter knows 11:30 is walking in the front door and not a minute later. So there's no right or wrong. Just make sure if you do expect your child to be home at 11:30, get them home at 11:30. If you say 11:30, but you really don't care, your child is learning that 11:30 isn't really the curfew. So it's, as Julie said, almost better not to say it's 11:30, because now they feel like they can break curfew and it's okay with you guys. So just get really clear. Kids are great. They don't want to disappoint you, and it's never too late.
Fantastic. Well, that's another tool for the trade. We hope that you've enjoyed this episode of the Real Life Parenting Podcast. If you're looking for more real life parenting tools, then please sign up for our weekly Thoughtful Thursday email newsletter. It's free and it's really good. Just visit our website, parentingpower.ca, to subscribe. While you're there, check out our book, A Year of Intentional Parenting. Like this podcast, the book was created to help you feel confident, capable, and calm. Thanks so much for listening, and we look forward to connecting with you again right here every Monday.